all right. I've heard the talk. There's been a lot of talk by teabaggers and libertarians about secession recently.
This talk of treason is pretty much restricted to libertarians and teabaggers, but the problem is starting to get out of hand now.
Unfortunately, there are millions of misguided souls in those two political movements, and because of their large numbers, they become a threat to our nation.
There are even candidates for president of the United States who openly support the notion of secession. You know, people like Ron Paul and Rick Perry.
Yeah, I know. A major spokesperson for the teabaggers, Sarah Palin, supported the Alaskan Secession Party at one time, and she is still married to a man who was actively involved in plotting to secede from the United States, by force if necessary.
Oh yeah, it's hard to believe. Millions of people support the traitor Sarah Palin, and by default, become traitors themselves.
That also goes for the millions of people who support Ron Paul. They are, in fact, traitors to the United States of America.
And of course, let's not forget that millions of people support the traitor, Rick Perry.
All these people supporting those traitors running for president of the United States, they don't care if this nation is destroyed or not.
They make excuses for when the Southern Confederacy attempted to destroy the United States. Today, the consequences of secession and the possible breakup of America is catastrophic for every American and to the world.
No. There are no excuses for those Southern traitors in our past, and there are no excuses for these Confederate traitors among us today.
What the South did in our past is comparable to any terrorist organization in the world today. The Confederacy tried to destroy the United States. That's the bottom line.
Anyone who thinks that individual states should go their own way and secede from our nation is dead wrong, and they are modern-day Confederate traitors. They have become the new enemies of state in modern-day America.
Yes, you have freedom of speech. However, you cannot falsely yell fire when there is none, and you cannot be allowed to destroy our nation because you have a persecution complex and suffer from delusions of grandeur.
In other words, we can't allow our nation to be destroyed because you are paranoid. If you advocate secession, then you should suffer the consequences.
You should be prohibited from ever flying the American flag again. You cannot fly the American flag and talk secession in the same breath. The two don't go together. Don't you get it? They don't go together.
If you were the military, your GI Bill benefits should be denied, your medals revoked. If you receive a pension from the military, it stops completely.
When you were in the military, you took an oath to defend the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That is a lifetime oath.
Now that you become a domestic enemy, you forfeit the benefits of having served in the armed forces and for violating your oath.
You should be prohibited from ever working for the United States government and for any company receiving common taxpayer dollars for services rendered.
Whatever money you paid to Social Security, you forfeit that money. It is gone, and you will never receive any payment from our government for anything for the rest of your life.
If you die early, your wife and children will not receive any benefit from the United States government. You are, after all, a traitor.
You will never be able to receive Medicare benefits. Not ever. If a national health care plan is ever implemented, you will not be eligible.
If your children want to go to college, they won't be eligible for Pell Grants, and they will receive no scholarship money or financial assistance for their education from the United States government, ever.
Unless, of course, they disavow themselves from your beliefs and reaffirm their dedication to our founding fathers and the United States of America.
You don't like the notion that our nation is united under a common cause and under a common constitution?
You want to break our nation apart?
You believe the Confederacy had a right to secede from our nation?
You think that individual states have a right to violate national laws? then you should pay the consequences.
Your United States citizenship should be revoked.
You will no longer be an American citizen, and you'll be classified as an enemy combatant.
You have become a clear and present danger to our nation. As an enemy combatant, you can be kidnapped, rendered, and tortured until you give up the names of others like you. There are consequences attached to being a traitor.